Welcome into Berea for Browns Live training camp presented by Snapple. Nathan Zagura alongside Josh Cribbs. And well in the distance, you can see the Browns preparing for today's practice, a practice that was postponed as the Browns players had meetings themselves, team meetings with their coaches. But then the Browns Leadership Council got together, about 12 players, and they had a meeting. They decided today, Josh, that they did want to practice. They'll practice for about an hour. It'll be a shorter practice today. Then they will move inside to continue the dialogue and the discussion about how they can help improve the state of social justice in our country, something obviously very important to our players and obviously very important to everybody in this country. And we saw it start with the NBA last night, and we've seen many teams in the NFL decide not to practice today. The Browns have decided to practice. It will be shortened, and then they will get to work on focusing on how they can be the solution and make a change. And Josh, obviously I think we would all agree right now that the America we see is divided. The America that we live in right now is not where we want it to be. And we all, I think, have an obligation, or certainly an opportunity, to be a part of that solution. And the Browns players taking that seriously. Kevin Stefanski saying right now is a moment for dialogue and unity, and that he's proud of the players wanting to be involved in the community. And I know you, as a player in the NFL, as somebody who probably has experienced a lot of things that I can't fathom experiencing, I'd just like to give you an opportunity to kind of talk on the topics of the day.
Definitely. I commend the athletes themselves for taking a stand in their community. And we have to understand NFL players, they are from certain communities. And when you talk about charity events, and you talk about giving charity to the community, you think about the different charitable causes. And I'm excited that D and Jimmy Haslam has provided the atmosphere along with Coach Stefanski for these players to have a platform. So you think about it, and what's going on right now in different charities. You think about it like that. You have players who donate to different charities, who care about different charities. And this is like that. When the community is suffering, especially a community that supports you, then you have to be there for them. No matter what the cause is, your team should be there to support you. You support them, cheering for them through wins and losses. So if any part of the community suffers in any kind of way, it's exciting, and I'm proud of the teams and the sports team taking the initiative to have the dialogue, to stand up for D and Jimmy, to provide the atmosphere for that, to support them wholeheartedly, and for them to put their all into it, showing that it's more than football. And they're allowing them to say it's more than just a game to these young men, because after football, they'll have to become men again in the communities. And this is a great start to continue the legacy of being great role models in the community that they serve.
Absolutely. And as a player, you have a platform, especially in our world today with social media, where you can create and disseminate your own message right to those people who are interested in following you. And I think players are saying, look, we have an opportunity to and have an obligation to use our voice for good.
And to hear a silence of them, that would be an issue. So they already are compelled, and like you said, a duty, an obligation to be there for the community in whatever way it's suffering. And this is the social injustice that's going on now. That's just a cause that's happening right now in the community. Tomorrow, next year, may be another situation, and then they have to answer the call as role models. Children see NFL players, they see these athletes as heroes, so to speak. That's my hero. So when that child hurts in a community, when the community itself hurts, those same heroes have the opportunity and the obligation, as you mentioned, to stand up for the community, to be the voice of the community, and to use their platforms responsible for all.
Absolutely, and I think we're all very proud to be a part of the Cleveland Browns organization. It was something we heard Andrew Berry, the team's general manager, champion months ago, and it is unfortunately still very, very relevant today, perhaps even more so in light of what's going on in our country. And if you want to get involved, you can go to clevelandbrowns.com in the community section and click on Be the Solution so that you can get involved, unite together, and as I said, be a part of the solution. Nathan Zagura and Josh Cribbs, it is Browns Live. You're looking at the Browns team beginning their practice today. One of 5 final training camp practices that this team has left before they fully get into preparation for the season opener against the Baltimore Ravens. So there is not a lot of time left, and I think today's practice, it will be shortened. We see that they are in pads. This will be a very important hour to get good work in on the field before they go and do the very important job of trying to do very important and good work off the field.
first you have to have this mental aspect, and as we see this shortened practice, we know that, hey, they're not going to do a lot of hitting. It's not going to be a lot of tackling to the ground, but what we want to see is that crispness. We want to see the readiness, the football readiness, that if they had to play tomorrow, you can look at this football team and say, you know what, Baker and company, those guys have a great chance to win a football game. That's what you want to come away feeling from both offense and defense. And when you line up against special teams, you want to see that cohesiveness, that consistency. You want to see those guys playing good, hard Browns football.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see that as they open with some special teams drills. See special teams coordinator Mike Prefer there going and barking out some orders to his team. The Browns, we just want to let you know, did make one move today in terms of the roster as they signed a center, John Toth, coming into the organization, and they placed Curtis Weaver, the defensive end they had just claimed off of waivers, onto the injured reserve. So bringing another interior lineman, and that's not a comment per se on J.C. Tretter's availability for the opener. It is much more a comment on the fact that Casey Dunn, who was brought in to be one of the backup interior linemen, was hurt and was waived injured in acquiring Weaver. So really, it is net a safety for a center transaction for the Cleveland Browns. Coming up on today's show, we will spotlight the quarterbacks. Browns alum John Greco will join us for a little national perspective. We hope to have Baker Mayfield, the Browns quarterback, joining us live after the show. But as you know, this is a very fluid situation today, as it is all around the sports world, not just the National Football League. Everything kind of in flux as you see the Browns going through their stretching. So we'll do the best to kind of roll with the punches here with you on Browns Live Training Camp, presented by Snapple. We'll also have offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, who joined us recently, mic'd up, and you can hit us with your fan questions using the hashtag Browns Live as you look at your head coach, Kevin Stefanski. And Josh, just going back to what we talked about the Open, I think Kevin Stefanski has done a heck of a job. And by the way, there's a sight for sore eyes. Terrence Money Mitchell back in pads. Looks like he will be able to return to practice. Good news for the Browns DBs. But Coach Stefanski has said that, it was the players' decision today, and I was going to listen to them and follow them. And every player that we've talked to, and veterans and young players alike, just said the feeling, and it started early in the offseason, it's carried through, we just feel like he has our backs. As a player in a locker room, what does that mean, and why is that so important?
It's so important because Coach Stefanski is the guy you're fighting for. Essentially, yes, you're fighting for your city, but he's the leader, so to speak.
Yes.
If they win all the games, the head coach he's the glorified. Coach Stefanski, you did an excellent job. If we lose all the game, what is Coach Stefanski doing? So, essentially, you're fighting for that head coach. It's like win one for the Gipper. And if the Gipper is on your side and he takes everything that you do to heart, he allows the atmosphere. And this is what I was talking about with D and Jimmy Haslam. This atmosphere that they've allowed for these young athletes to come out here and do their best is phenomenal. And I think that everything that Coach Stefanski is doing right now, history will judge him. He's doing great things for this football team and for his players.
There's no doubt about it. He has done and has made a strong impression on his players. As you see the Browns going through their stretching, getting ready for today's practice. As you take a look at Myles Garrett there, Porter Gustin in the distance. And Myles Garrett, some very strong words today as he addressed the media, was the first one to let the media know that the Browns Leadership Council, of which he is a huge part, has gotten together and they've decided to practice today, albeit on a shorter basis, before going inside to continue their discussion about how they can impact change in the social justice space here, and that is clearly the issue at the top of mind for everybody in our country today. Let's get now to our news update brought to you by Carrier. And I mentioned a couple of just quick housekeeping items. Number one, John Toth, the center, was signed. The Browns also brought in Damian Willis off of waivers. Willis, a 6'3" wide receiver in his second season out of Troy, who appeared in 10 games catching 9 balls for the Bengals a year ago. He has not gone through his COVID protocols yet, so there doesn't have to be a corresponding waiver move just yet. But those are two brought in. Let's talk about now first, though, the state of the offense. And Josh, we would say the early portion of training camp, certainly the defense has stood out. Today, after the day off, an opportunity to add a few more wrinkles in. Hopefully we see a good day for this offense because it's had its moments.
Yes.
Hooper's been great. Beckham's been great. Both running backs have been great. Harrison Bryant Jarvis. We've seen moments from other receivers like Donovan Peoples-Jones, etc. What we haven't seen is consistent day in, day out performance from this offense. And as you look at Baker Mayfield there, that's something I'm sure they want to get ramped up and solidified heading into the opener.
You kind of said it. You had individual guys that are very consistent in Hooper, that whole tight end group. You know, even though the offense has been struggling a few days here and there, they've strung along some good balance of offense and defense because of those individual guys like OBJ, the catch over two guys that made play of the game or the day. And you have Hollywood Higgins on the day that seemed terrible for the offense. Hollywood Higgins still catches the touchdown, has the play of the day, you know, does his Hollywood dance. But it's still some good things to see from this team. Again, you know, we had the OC on the other day, and he talked about there's things to be learned from having bad days. You can take a lot of notes out of having bad days. You find out, hey, this is not how we're going to do it. You find out the wrong way to practice and how we need to practice going along further. Again, the offense is never too bad, and it's never too good. So when you look at it, they did string along some good days, so I can say there's somewhat of a balance. It's just the defense right now is playing lights out. Even at the secondary and third string level, they're playing lights out good football led by Joe Woods.
They certainly are. And just a note for the offense, does look like David Njoku, who has missed the last few practices with a wrist injury, will be back for the Browns today. And that's a perfect segue, though, into our defense. And the state of the defense, well, frankly, it's been pretty good, and that's with guys. Myles Garrett has missed a lot of time. Larry Ogunjobi has missed time. Both are back now. And on the secondary, Greedy Williams, Kevin Stefanski saying earlier, probably still out for a while, but as we saw, Terrence Money Mitchell back out there for them. But this has been a group up front. They've been good. The linebackers with so many question marks, especially once Mack Wilson was lost due to injury, they have been better than expected. In the secondary, that depth has really been on full display, not because you wanted it to have to be, but because it has had to be.
And they've been rallying around each other. So the veteran guys that you have, those outstanding secondary guys, Sendejo, you got Carl Joseph in there, picks after picks from the younger DB and the younger secondaries. You have the D-line, Jordan Elliott in there running things in the backfield. Quarterback hurries, disrupting the offensive line, and Quality getting his neck in there. So you see these guys, and we can't say enough good things about the defense. Yes, they had a lot of injuries, but then you think Baker's going to have a great day, a field day against what is the second, third string guys. And no, Alumbo is covering up OBJ. Passes downfield, he's contested all the way through, batting the ball down. You had Tavier Thomas in there with the speed, knocking balls down from Hooper. I mean, those guys, again, the defense right now is playing lights out. Not that the offense hasn't done some successful things. They're just not handling the second string guys from our defense like they should, like we think they should.
That's right, and they'll get an opportunity today as you see these guys on the defense going through. Look at Montrell Meander there, converted safety, working with that linebacker room, and they're getting Tay Davis is back on the defense today, Money Mitch back on the defense, and that's a good one. He will likely be working as the other starting corner opposite of Denzel Ward. And Donovan Alumbo, you mentioned, certainly been a standout, somebody who's helped his roster stock perhaps more than anybody on the defense in the early going here in camp. Time now for our national perspective as Browns alum John Greco, a man who certainly was familiar with this offense or this style of offense back in 2014 when Kyle was in town as he was a member of the Browns. Let's listen to him. I was able to catch up with him last night in our national perspective, brought to you by Global Transport.
So the Browns offense now, I don't know if you've been following along on Browns Live. I'm sure it's destination viewing for you, like the millions and millions of Browns fans around the world. But the offense, it's taken some time. No OTAs, no mini camp. They're getting right into it. So kind of walk us through, as somebody who's been in this offense, what does it take to get this offense to click?
You know, the thing that takes is just repetitions. And, you know, it's kind of, I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. This offense is schematically something that's easy to pick up, easy to understand. You know, you don't have a lot of volume, a lot of big giant playbook. It's conceptually easy to understand, but the teams that are really, really good at it are good because of repetitions. So, you know, Cleveland, as every team's under the gun, you know, you're preparing very fast and under short notice and a small window of opportunity and time. But that's the thing. It's how quick is that learning curve? How fast can these guys understand the concept, gel together, get their footwork down, think fast and react. And when you can be comfortable in this offense and play fast without thinking, that's when you start clicking and firing also on those cylinders.
Yeah, we've already seen the famous leak play that was so good for Jordan Cameron and you guys in 2014 with Baker going to Austin Hooper for a big play. Because as you said, you stress those guys. And Baker has been so good his whole career moving outside of the pocket. So this offense, you would say, seems to suit his skill set pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. Get him moving, get him faking the ball, and there's always something mechanically moving, whether he's showing fakes in play action, drop back, booting out, and throwing on the run. I think it's going to be great for him because he's an athlete. He's a player that can make tight throws and deep balls. So I'm excited to see how it's going to work for him opening up here in a few weeks. And really, the sky's the limit. Everything we've talked about since this new system was put into place. I know everything that's going on now. It's they would want to have a full off season and workload, but it is what it is. So how fast can those guys get everything done and have the confidence moving forward and just roll with it?
The Browns have a unique ability to run Nick Chubb at him, and then, let's just bring the 2017 NFL leading rusher in Kareem Hunt. This offense with those two backs, what would as a lineman, what would you be thinking?
Well, my mouth would be watering. The talent, and we've talked about it for over a year now, the talent that the front office and everybody put into place here, it's time. The guys are excited. The guys are ready. I know, Baker's playing with a chip on his shoulder. A lot of guys have a lot to prove, and I think they're hungry to do that. Coming out, I think they're primed to catch people off guard. Like we were just talking about, it's a system that you can kind of show up and there's going to be no trickery. It's going to be what you see is what you get. Line up, what's coming, try to stop us. And I'm excited to watch it.
Do you think in the early season as an offensive player, you didn't have to do tackling drills, but in a regular offseason, a regular training camp, you have 4 preseason games, which are going to be fully live tackling. You're going to have some periods of live tackling probably sprinkled throughout training camp. We probably will never have opened a season with less live tackling to the ground being done by defenses. Do you think that in the early portion of the season, a team that is strong on the ground like the Browns could be might have an advantage? Because I don't think people are going to be getting Nick Chubb on the first look as maybe they would. And they probably don't do that anyway, but as they would in a normal season, we might see, I would imagine, sloppy tackling in the early going, which could play potentially into the Browns' favor.
I completely agree. I think you said it. The word sloppy, you're definitely going to see that. It's going to be tough because you know how in the years past, a lot of the marquee guys, a lot of the starters rest in those last couple preseason games, and I think it's obvious there's a lot of sloppy play. Coupled that with everyone not getting a lot of reps and opportunities before live bullets, I think you're going to see it. So it is going to play into offense's favors. You're going to see some missed tackling. I think you're going to see some guys that are maybe a little bit more gassed than they're used to because they don't have those full speed reps under their belt. And, you really don't get in playing shape until you actually play games. So I think early it's so crucial to start fast and get a couple wins under your belt, because when this team is clicking, hopefully in November and December, that's when they're going to be in their groove, and it's just going to be a well-oiled machine. But to start fast, I think is crucial.
All right, I'm going to leave you on this. You got me fired up for the start of this season. I don't know if you've seen what Joel Bitonio is doing on his face. I want, as a former member of that huddle with him and a former member of that line, we know Joe Thomas, not a fan. What do you think of this? It's a rapscallion's beard is the only way I could say. It's north of the wall. It's Game of Thrones. He's a wilding.
It's definitely Game of Thrones, Wildings, Watcher on the Wall-esque. He was down here. We played golf a couple of weeks ago, before he reported. And, he just looked one of the guys told me he looked like one of the guys we were playing with said he looked like one of the guys from Duck Dynasty. And it was hilarious. We were at a place, and we were out by the pool. And, I stick out like a sore thumb there. There's not too many guys my size there, so everybody's staring at me. So it was kind of nice having Joel around because he had the beard and the hair, and he just looked like Grizzly Adams. So it was good to have him in town. But I think you should keep it rolling. Let's see what this thing's potential. What's it going to look like in Christmas time?
That's just see where it goes. That's right. Let's let it unfurl and take on a life of its own. John Greco, always a pleasure. One of the prized possessions of the Zagura household. I bet you didn't even know that I had this. That's right. It's been for many a moon.
I appreciate the support, man. It's always great talking to you. I hope we can do this again.
Hopefully in person sometime soon, John. Great seeing you. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, mate.
John Greco there saying, let it go, Joel Bitonio, as you see the offensive line getting ready today. Can also tell you, Damian Ratley back at practice, David Njoku back at practice on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, Tay Davis and Terrence Money Mitchell are back in that secondary. Greedy Williams, Kevin Johnson, and M.J. Stewart remain on the sideline for the Browns. New this year, Browns fans across Ohio will have a special opportunity to purchase 50-50 raffle tickets during the 2020 Cleveland Browns training camp. Each ticket will provide a chance to win half of the raffle's net proceeds, the other half benefiting Stay in the Game, Keep Learning Every Day, and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions do apply. The current jackpot is $16,195 and climbing, so don't miss out. For more information on how to purchase a raffle ticket, Browns5050.com or the Browns mobile app. Again, visit Browns5050.com, as you see on your screen, or the Browns mobile app. We'll be back with a look at the quarterbacks and more from Berea, where the Browns will be getting this practice fully into swing here on Browns Live, presented by Snapple.
Snapple apple tastes like apple.
And we dance the same too. And one, and two, shake that stone. Put it in the basket.
Now let's cobbler.
And cobbler, and cobbler.
Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple. Tastes like a perfect peach. It keeps on peaching. Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple.
Hi, my name is Kyle, and I'm a pharmacist at Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a daughter, a wife, and a mother. I'm your neighbor, part of the community just like you. Drug Mart is part of the community too. They have been for more than 50 years. Now, more than ever in these challenging times, your neighborhood Drug Mart pharmacy, all of us, are here to help you. You can rely on us to go the extra mile, whatever you need, every time. I know in my heart that I can lean on my neighbors, and you can lean on Discount Drug Mart.
Okay, eyes on me. First, we're gonna start Ohio's 529 plan. Tax-free, baby. Pretty soon, we've got another base hit to right field. Oh, but let's say one of us gets a promotion. Oh, now we're at the 30. We're at the 40. With time running down on the clock, we get a grandparent assist, and it's go!
Ohio's 529 plan is how you win at college savings. Learn more at collegeadvantage.com.
New this year, Browns fans all across Ohio will have a special opportunity to purchase 50-50 raffle tickets during the 2020 Cleveland Browns training camp. Each ticket will provide a chance to win half of the raffle's net proceeds, the other half benefiting the Stay in the Game Network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. For more information and to purchase a raffle ticket, visit Browns5050.com. That's Browns5050.com or the Browns mobile app.
Just got my new jersey from the Browns.
And it looks like we're going a little bit more traditional this year. Oh, Lord. Heck yeah.
Oh, I like the white one. Back to the good old days.
Welcome back into Browns Live Training Camp presented by Snapple. Nathan Zgura alongside a former quarterback but a Browns legend, Josh Cribbs. And Josh, time now for our position spotlight. Looking at the quarterbacks in today's position spotlight, as always, is brought to you by Pilot Flying J. And we'll just get right into this team drill and talk about it. And obviously, all the focus on Baker Mayfield. As Mayfield hands it off to the left side on that stretch play, you see Nick Chubb getting the carry. And Money Mitch, good to see him back in there. But for Baker Mayfield, great year one, record-setting year one in the NFL, setting the record for most touchdown passes by a rookie. Last year didn't go the way he wanted it. He certainly has acknowledged it, but everybody says this is the perfect offense for him, the perfect system for him, and he's expected to have and expecting to have a big year three.
Yes, and Baker improved tremendously in this training camp on his high percentage check down passes. He's not looking for the deep ball. He's not looking for it all in one take all the time. That's how he's improved. He's improved his practice habits, workout habits. All of that has improved thus far.
Another little stretch run to the left side, and it's Nick Chubb picking up a nice gain here. As you see the Browns on defense, other than up front anyway, getting back to full strength as we saw Myles Garrett with Vernon there, Richardson and Ogunjobi. We haven't seen Ogunjobi in team drills for quite some time, him back in there. So you're seeing that group against the Browns offensive line that's been there. Wills, Bitonio, Nick Harrison for J.C. Treader, Wyatt Teller, and Jack Conklin. So we're going to see the guys up front today.
Oh, yeah.
I think this should be a nice little battle, something to watch. And two good stretch runs. Alex Van Pelt saying to us, look, that's where we have been successful, that wide zone, which is the backbone of this offense. We've seen two of those to start today's practice session. Now we see the Baker Mayfield keeper stepping up, batted down at the line of scrimmage, and picked off Sione Takitaki. And that will be a pick six for the Browns defense. Eli Anku, the one who got his hands on it, and Anku having an excellent camp. We've talked about not only his ability against the run, but how many times have we said pass batted down at the line of scrimmage by number 91, Eli Anku, and then Taki right place at the right time.
And this is right in line with what we have been saying. This defense has been doing what? Playing lights out football, no matter who's lined up. The young guys, the bigger guys, the veterans. And I'm glad to see Ogunjobi out there, but he has to catch up. Those guys, Jordan Elliott and company, they've been balling out.
Eli Anku certainly stepping in, and a guy that, you wonder, had there not been an opt-out from Billings, as you see Porter Gustin, who continues to have an excellent camp, get in the backfield and run down from the opposite side and run down Kareem Hunt on that toss play. So once again, a good start for the Browns defense is what has been a theme here of late with that group, but a good start there. But to be fair, Nick Chubb's first two runs were positive plays for the Browns that would have probably picked him up a first down before the tipped ball interception and then a good play by Gustin.
And no one doubts Nick Chubb's running ability when he's handed the ball off going downhill, hard-nosed. Again, we urge guys to get off the tracks when you see Nick Chubb with the ball. So he's doing great at that aspect.
That's one of those where they fake the pass to the left, they throw it out, or fake the run to the right, and then a quick little play action throw out to the left. And there's Robert Jackson, who's been playing well also, as these cornerbacks have really stepped up with all the rash of injuries. Again, today we will not see Greedy Williams, we will not see Kevin Johnson or MJ Stewart. Money Mitch working out there with the starters opposite of Denzel Ward. And Keenum brings that veteran experience. Great season in 2017. And for the Browns, you're bringing in a guy who's opened up, each of the last three seasons as the starting quarterback in Minnesota. Then he went to Denver, then to Washington. Now he brings that experience and know-how as the backup for the Cleveland Browns. And you're seeing some chance down the field. We said Alex Van Pelt say we're going to take some shots, and that's Donovan Peoples-Jones getting behind the defense for the big pass play. And that's what Alex Van Pelt said. We got to loosen him up. Peoples-Jones, we told you the size, the speed. He can take the top off the defense, and right there just ran away from Robert Jackson for a huge play.
Yes, these are the type of plays we want to see. This is the type of play I wanted to see, not just from DPJ, your young guy. I wanted to see that from Case Keenum. I wanted to see him as a starting type quarterback. Now I see it. Now he's starting to get me excited already. Nathan, I'm getting excited about this offense.
Yeah, well, it's good. We wanted to see some of that positivity from the offense. And don't forget, in 2017 as the starter for the Vikings, Kevin Stefanski was the quarterback coach for Case Keenum. And Keenum that year, he threw for 3,547 yards with 22 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. So he was incredibly efficient. And as a guy who's proven he can be a starter, but when you see that, boy, you like to see that from Keenum. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, and you just wonder, is he a guy that really has a chance to, as this season progresses, make an impact? Because he looks like, when you go to Central Casting, say, give me a number one wide receiver, they look like Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Definitely. He fits the mold of what you want to see from your receivers when you bring him in. He's big, he's physical, he's tough, he runs good, and he catches the football above all things. You want to see great things. You want to keep seeing that from him.
A little bit of a missed timing on the snap there as the starters back out to work for the Browns offense. Time now for our Football 101, brought to you by Ohio Cat, and we're going to take a look at what this type of offense can do in that keeper game. And this is when you're showing the wide zone to the right. This is back from 2014, folks, when the Browns were running the Shanahan-Kubiak system, stretched to the right, peel back to the left, but who continues around to the right? It's the tight end, Jordan Cameron. Had to wait a little bit for that one. Otherwise, that might have been a touchdown, but certainly getting the Browns down in the goal line. And this is the play we saw, exact same. Baker Mayfield to Austin Hooper, except that one he rolled right through left. Here he rolls left and throws down to the right as Cameron almost gets into the end zone. There's a pretty guy in a suit there who looked pretty fired up about that. I don't know if we know who that is or not, but that's what this offense can set up. And that's why the wide zone being effective is so important. It opens things up for that keeper game, and that's our Football 101 presented by Ohio Cat, looking at those keepers and the big plays that can come out of them.
Yes, and like you said, when you have a running attack that's led by Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, you'll have that steady flow from the defense. What comes off the flow? Boots. They'll be ready for the boots, but you still got your guys running with that flow downfield, so it's a lot of trickery and misdirection that can happen from a simple running attack.
And that's why it is the foundation of what you do. You see Nick Harris under center there. Baker, quick little play action, has to get flushed out to the right. Good job by the defense, and he's able to get out there and try to make a positive play. But we're seeing a good job. That looked like some pressure coming off the right side, working against Jedrick Wills, Joel Bitonio, and it looks like they flushed Baker Mayfield out, and the Browns were not able to go ahead and rip it down the field there as it looked like they were wanted to. I think we're seeing some play-action shot plays come out today, and hopefully, we're going to see more connections. We've already seen one, Case Keenum to Donovan Peoples-Jones.
They didn't like that. The defense did not like that.
No, they haven't. They haven't seen much of that so far as Baker Mayfield leading the Browns back under center again here, working against the Browns ones on defense today, and it's good to see Money Mitch back with that group. And they're on the far field, so it's tough for us to really get a good vantage point on what's going on. But it looks like Tavier Thomas working in the slot in the early going here as Mayfield fires. His receiver fell down. That was Hollywood Higgins. Good coverage there by Terrence Money Mitchell, and they are unable to once again make a connection there in the pass game. And all we want to see, I think, is just a little bit of rhythm. We saw Case Keenum with the big play so far. We want to see Baker start to get in a little bit of that rhythm there with the starters on offense. All right, we will have more of this practice for you. It's Browns Live Training Camp right after this, presented by Snapple.
The health and well-being of Ohioans is our top priority. That's why we offer high-quality health insurance plans for you and your family, with access to the doctors and hospitals you know and trust, plus dental, vision, and wellness plans to help you achieve and maintain your best health. We give you peace of mind so you can enjoy life's best moments. We are here for you, today and every day. Medical Mutual, the official health insurer of everything you love.
Antonio's Pizza delivers doubles. Order 2 medium one-topping pizzas for just $9.99 each, or make it a large for just $12.99. Download our new Antonio's Pizza app and order 2 of your favorite one-topping pizzas at a special low price. Choose our no-contact delivery and let one of our in-house team members deliver the deliciousness right to your front door. 2 handmade one-topping pizzas fresh out of our 470-degree oven for a low price of $9.99 each for 2 mediums, or get 2 large for just $12.99 each.
All right, time now for everybody's favorite part of the show, our Puppy Pound Puppy of the Day, adopted by Sugardale. Today's puppy is a 1-year-old hound mix named Chase Keenum. Maybe he throws bombs to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Thanks to the tremendous community support, we only have a limited number of puppies available for adoptions, but we still have dogs We consider all dogs to be puppies at heart that need forever homes, so please to continue to support this great program. If you want to see or adopt a dog or puppy of your own, visit browns.com/fan/puppy pound. That's browns.com/puppy pound. With each adoption, families will receive a puppy starter kit provided by Sugardale. It is a windy day here in Berea. Nathan Segura and Josh Cribbs. It's Browns Live, presented by Snapple. We'll get back out onto the field. As you see, the wind shaking our whole setup here, Josh. I feel like we're gonna blow away today. It'd be a challenging day for Austin Seibert and the kickers. You see Seibert getting some work right over our shoulder. We were talking about the quarterbacks earlier. You see that quarterback room there getting some work as the Browns are into their special teams portion. Oh, a little trickery there, and Mike Prefer not going to be happy about that, Josh.
No, not at all. Whenever you want to reverse, whenever you do any type of trickery, come on. You got to have it come through, or the coaches say, nope, we're not running that. Let's take it out. And you know they practice it. You know they're prepared for it. You know this guy. You know JoJo can catch. They have to look that reverse in, and you have to take it. Because if you can't do it in practice, you won't call it in the game. That's like a cardinal rule that they have, and it's unsaid. They think it's going to be ran, but if you can't show the head coach that you can run it in practice, they won't do it. They won't do it.
You've got to be perfect on that in practice. Otherwise, in a game, that could be a 10, 15-yard loss.
Or a turnover.
Or or worse, a turnover, and you certainly can't have that. And you saw Mike Prefer saying exactly what you just said. Make sure you catch it first, then we'll worry about running it. But the exchange is the key. That one goes over Dontrell Hilliard's head, and this time they go with just there we go, and they get it right. And there goes JoJo Natson weaving up the left side for what the Browns would hope would be a big return right there. Nathan Segura, Josh Cribbs, Browns Live. Thanks for being with us here out in Berea. Again, today's practice will be a shorter one. In light of all the things going on in our country, the Browns players have decided, and Kevin Stefanski will follow their lead, to shorten today's practice to about 1 hour before they retire and get together as a group to figure out how they can most effectively make a meaningful change in the social justice area, and something that is certainly supported by our organization from the very top. And again, for more, go to clevelandbrowns.com/be the solution for you if you would like to be a part of what the Browns and really what our country is working towards, and that is a better America for all of us. Time now to get a little mic'd up with our offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, brought to you by Discount Drug Mart.
These are thick. It's kind of chilly out.
It is.
I think I'm not going outside for this room.
All right. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. In the rain, Joel. Punch reach, get the groins. Get the groins loose. The groins. Good. Oh, I got him. There you go, good job. Oh, he got him. That's outside the number. That's a good ball, Baker. That's a landmark right there. That's a spot. He's got to stay inside that edge of the numbers. You can bleed him back into the alley, right? That's a good ball. That's right where it should be. You were outside the numbers. Okay. That ball landed right on the inside edge of the numbers, and that's the spot, really. You were outside and you tried to come back in. So that ball should be like right down the numbers and then bleed you back into the alley, so that drop kick safety can't come and get it. There we go. Stay up. Finish. We'll go out to the middle. We usually have 6 bags. We'll go 4 today. It's the over the bags. So singles through. So set up, and then you're hauling ass through. Speed to the numbers. Now you get pulled up. Good. That's it. Double down. Keep your eyes up if you can, right? Keep your eyes up if you can. You'll get used to it. Good rep, Case. There we go. Good rep. Am I getting tired? Double down. Boom, boom. There you go. Good. Good rep. Come out of it. There you go, Kareem. Finish! Good job. Let's go. Finish! There we go. Finish!
Field, something you know a lot more than I do about. In fact, I know zero. You know a ton, doing it not only as a player and as a coach. But we see Alex Van Pelt, some of those coaching notes. What did you see from him there?
I love how the attention to detail was in every drill. Keep your eyes up. legs up during the drill, make the throw, eyes up, and he said, you'll get used to it. And he's wanting them to create the good habits because it's all about the little things. Even the landmarks during the throwing routes, he was saying, that was a good pass. Even though it may not have been completed, you threw it on the correct landmark. He came back, and what did he do? He corrected the receiver. Hey, if he throws it right there straight to you where you were at, then you give that time, that safety time to get to that pass. So I love the attention to detail, the little things. It's always the little things that matters most.
It's that precision that you need to be effective week in and week out in the National Football League. Time now for our dog of the day. And today it's Mike Agius from St. Thomas, Ontario. Mike went to his first Browns game when he was 13 years old, and by the time it was over, he knew he was going to be a fan for life. He hasn't missed a game in almost 40 years and can't wait to watch the Browns this year. If you want a chance to be featured as our dog of the day, visit browns.com/training camp to submit your story. We'll be back with more Browns Live Training Camp, get you back onto the field for today's practice from Berea.
Snapple Apple tastes like apple.
And we dance the same too. And 1 and 2, shake now, stomp. Put it in the basket.
Now let's cobbler.
And cobbler, and cobbler.
Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple. Tastes like a perfect peach. It keeps on peaching. Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Antonio's Pizza delivers doubles. Order 2 medium one-topping pizzas for just $9.99 each, or make it a large for just $12.99. Download our new Antonio's Pizza app and order 2 of your favorite one-topping pizzas at a special low price. Choose our no-contact delivery and let one of our in-house team members deliver the deliciousness right to your front door. 2 handmade one-topping pizzas fresh out of our 470-degree oven for a low price of $9.99 each for 2 mediums, or get 2 large for just $12.99 each.
The Cleveland Browns are tremendously grateful for those who continue to serve on the front lines during these extremely challenging times. As a way to show our appreciation and as a part of our Hats Off to Our Heroes Foundation, we will honor a frontline worker for each week of the season. Nominate any frontline worker that you know for a chance to be honored with an exclusive Browns game day experience. Learn more by visiting clevelandbrowns.com/nominate-a-hero.
Welcome back to Browns Live Training Camp, presented by Snapple. Time now for our Community Spotlight today. And in this week's Community Spotlight, we want to recognize the return of our High School Game of the Week program presented by OhioCat and in association with the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine and Raising Canes. Each week, 4 panelists nominate a game for the High School Game of the Week poll, where staff, faculty, coaches, players, and community members then vote to determine which matchup will be featured. The winning team from the selected Game of the Week receives $3,000 for their high school football program. Also, the winning coach and game MVP are honored with a custom Coach of the Week game ball and a Browns varsity letter for the MVP. At the conclusion of the season, the Browns will announce a high school coach of the year who will earn an additional $6,000 for their program. To cast your vote, go to www.clevelandbrowns.com/youthfootball. Welcome back into Berea. Nathan Segura alongside Browns legend Josh Cribbs. And today's practice, as we know, will be a shorter one for the Browns as they look to put in a good hour of work on the field before transitioning to the very important work of how they can impact meaningful change in the social justice space. You take a look now at Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield and this offense. See Donovan Peoples-Jones there, who provided the early highlight of today. So far, the 2 highlights, the Case Keenum to Donovan Peoples-Jones bomb for the touchdown, and then if you put on your defensive hat, it would be Eli Anku batting down Baker Mayfield's pass at the line, actually tipping it up, I should say, where it was intercepted by Sione Takitaki for a pick 6 for the Browns defense. They're getting ready, it looks like we're doing offense, kind of doing a little install before they get ready to go into a full teams period. And they appear to be close to the goal line. So this could be a goal line install. We might see a little bit of a live goal line period coming up. And the Browns and Kevin Stefanski have really emphasized, I think, a lot of work in the scoring area because that's the difference. 7 versus 3. You convert 7 more often than 3. You win more often than you lose.
And in the commercial break, you guys didn't see this earlier. I don't want you to think those tight ends are not letting themselves be heard. But Carlson caught a athletic catch from Keenum, and it was one that I love to see because he showed his how long he is as a receiver. You said he played receiver in college, but he shows that with his big girth as he has right now, he's going to be used to block as well. But man, when you see him as a receiver down the field and catching that ball, stretching out to make a good catch, and the yards after catch the yards after catch, for those of you who don't know what the yak means, that was tremendous from not just Carlson, but all the tight ends. I love the fact that you can throw the ball to him, and the play is not over.
Absolutely not. No, he moves like a receiver, ran routes as a receiver at Princeton in college, and now, for the Browns' first catch was a touchdown on Thursday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers and has a vicious stiff arm, hence the name Stiff Arm Steve. And I think for Andrew Berry, deciding, are you going to keep all 5 of these guys? These are all 5 NFL caliber tight ends. When you think about Austin Hooper and David Njoku and Harrison Bryant, who's been absolutely electric in the opening to camp. Steve Carlson and Pharaoh Browns had a very good go. As you see Baker Mayfield leading the offense over to take on the defense, and it does look like the Browns are going to be close to the goal line, and certainly in the red zone area, it would appear, as they work on getting into those scoring plays in the scoring zone in a 7-on-7 format, it appears here. So we're doing a little 7-on-7 down in the red zone. Looks like they're at the 10, 15-yard line, with Baker working under center. And here's where we'd like to see that rhythm come. Ball out quickly, and that's a good, safe, easy catch by Harrison Bryant, and that's one of those positive plays. So it looks like they're about the 10 or the 15 here, Josh. Working 7-on-7, and here's where you want to see that period. Let's get the 4 in a row from Baker Mayfield. He start off 1 for 1 there. Positive play on first down, getting the ball to Harrison Bryant.
And you just was talking up those tight ends. We just were talking about that. Isn't it a good problem to have for Andrew Berry to look at that plethora of great deep tight end talent and trying to choose from those guys?
And I love plethora. That's a great word, Josh. It's a veritable cornucopia of talent there. Mayfield in rhythm, Jarvis, and there we go, getting a nice little rhythm going. And Jarvis Landry, always good to see him out there. And that time they had a trio of Jarvis with Donovan Peoples-Jones and Taywan Taylor, and Mayfield going on that quick kind of inward breaking route to Jarvis there, getting them, again, another positive play. There's JoJo Natson along with Jarvis and Donovan Peoples-Jones. Looks like Harrison Bryant at tight end. Kareem Hunt as your running back in this 7-on-7 drill. As they get ready to look at it here, Baker will take this one in the shotgun. Sends a man in motion. See B.J. Goodson, Robert Jackson opposite him in defense. Taki flaring out right over the middle of the field. There's Donovan Peoples-Jones with a quick little catch and scoots right into the end zone. Looks like they're about the 10-yard line there. Peoples-Jones is a guy that I just continue to say is one of the most intriguing prospects that we have out here in camp, and somebody that obviously his talent wasn't capitalized on fully in college, but we're starting to see him do some very good things here in Berea and starting to see it on more of a consistent basis.
Yes, and I wrote DPJ and JoJo. Because I'm like, does it have to be one or the other? I'm thinking like, man, can't we just keep them both? So Andrew Berry definitely has his work cut out for him.
Baker with a quick drop and again throw, and there it is, Harrison Bryant. You put it up to Harrison Bryant. He has been a factor in the red zone all training camp long, and Harrison Bryant again with one of those good catches. That was in the middle of 3 defenders. Baker put it where only Harrison Bryant could get it. As we take another look at it here, Mayfield in the shotgun with Kareem Hunt to his left. Kind of hits top of the drop, waits, puts it up high. Harrison Bryant gets it. I mean, there are 3 guys there, Sendejo, Goodson, and Jacob Phillips, and it didn't matter. That's what Harrison Bryant's been doing. And again, we're trying David Njoku back at practice. Looks like not in the team portion of practice as he eases his way back in. But Harrison Bryant, pretty darn good. I think Jarvis might be saying, man, that Harrison Bryant kid, he's getting it done.
I mean, you see all, and somebody asked the question, would they ever put 3 tight end sets in the game at the same time?
Yes.
it don't sound too bad now that you look at who the tight ends will be.
No, it doesn't sound bad, and you have to defend the run in that format, but you can obviously throw the football. As we head into break, it's time now for today's trivia question brought to you by Howard Hanna, and the question is, which Browns quarterback held the NFL record for most consecutive completed passes without an interception until December 26, 2010, when Tom Brady set the new record? Our answer on the other side when Browns Live Training Camp presented by Snapple returns.
At Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, we realize now, more than ever, is the perfect time to have the perfect house. We're confident we can find your dream home, even in today's competitive market. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Let's get that answer now from our Howard Hanna trivia question, which was which Browns quarterback held the NFL record for most consecutive completed passes without an interception? The answer, of course, the iconic Bernie Kosar. Bernie, in 1990 and 1991 seasons, Kosar set a league record by throwing 308 consecutive passes without an interception, a record that stood for almost 2 decades. Welcome back into Browns Live Training Camp presented by Snapple. Nathan Zgura and Browns legend Josh Cribbs with you here in Berea. We'll head back out to the field now for more of the practice action as the Browns are still in this 7-on-7 period. You see Baker Mayfield with Benny LeMay at the running back position, Austin Hooper at tight end as they stay in this red zone 7-on-7 period. We saw that nice pass to Harrison Bryant. Also, while we were in the break, Case Keenum had a nice one to Ernest Johnson. Mayfield scrambles out to the right looking for Jarvis Carl Joseph in coverage. It's great to see Cover Johnson there. Just the fact that he's here, he looks good, and hopefully is back sooner rather than later with what could have been, and obviously was, a very scary injury. It's certainly a good sight to see there. Good job by the defense, Joseph, with the coverage there on Jarvis Landry.
Yes, it's going to be a hard time, and again, I was excited just to see Larry Ogunjobi back in team periods because you had Jordan Elliott and company that was tearing it up, and I'm sure he wanted to get back in there. The same thing goes for those corners. You got those young guys, Alumbo, Tavier Thomas, you got Money Mitch in there. They're all hungry, so it's going to be a crowded room no matter how you look at it.
There's no doubt the cornerback depth has really stood out because you're still practicing today without 3 of your top 5, and there's what Pharaoh Brown can do, but great job by Willie Harvey at the end to poke it out, and that's the thing. Pharaoh Brown, you got that size. It was a great ball put right in the perfect spot, but you got to complete that catch, and Harvey did a great job. You see his defensive teammates fired up for the youngster. Harvey last year, an undrafted free agent out of Iowa State who made a real impression, ended up making this team before suffering a season-ending injury, getting a little praise from head coach Kevin Stefanski, which is something I'm sure a player always wants. Odell Beckham even talking to him on the way there, but a good job. Didn't prevent the catch, but prevented the completion of the catch.
I'm still upset about that. I think Pharaoh Brown has the athletic ability and the talent to snatch that down with strength, with violence, snatch that ball down.
Yeah, you got to bring it in.
I don't want to take anything away from the young linebacker, though. I don't want to take any away. That was a good play. But, again, from your offensive guys in a crowded, tight-end room, you want to see Farrell, who's a guy who's big time on special teams right now, be consistently catching those footballs over the top and showing. And again, we can't take any talent away from the linebacker.
No, but that's a 4-point play there. Farrell catches it. It's a touchdown. If not, it's a chip shot field goal, and it's a 4-point play. In this case, we'll focus on the positive from Willie Harvey. See Baker Mayfield under center with his starting offensive line back out there, and they run a little play action. Boot to the right. Baker getting to the edge, fires, and that looked just like the drill we watched him run as Hollywood Higgins. They're saying, the defensive coach are saying, no, he's out of bounds. Higgins say, what do you mean I was in bounds?
He's like, Coach, I'm in.
That was a pretty good recreation of exactly what we were seeing in that drill where Alex Van Pelt was having him roll out to the right and fire it to the sideline. And it was close. We don't have the camera angles to give that one to you, but I got to tell you, pretty good. Another keeper there, and that's where you get him open, Austin. Oh, that
you don't see that often.
You don't see that very often, and that would have been a big play. Is that when they had the defense fooled and Hooper was wide open? Throw a little behind him on his back hip, but that's when you want to see caught and moved up the field for this offense.
And it was a little behind him, but Hooper's not used to the ball being thrown behind, especially by Baker. So he's trying to catch and run with the ball before he actually secures it. So this is a good teaching moment for him. Hey, let me just secure the catch first. So he, even though we don't see that too much from him,
not often.
It's a good lesson for him.
It is, and it's one where the Browns often saying, man, that was a play that we should have made. He's getting Nick Chubb around the right side, squeezes through a crack, and I love the way Nick Chubb finishes every single run in practice.
Again,
every single one.
Leading by example is Nick Chubb. That's how he is. He plays like a captain on this football team. Anytime you need to see how it's done from a runner back perspective, from an athlete perspective, the way he works out, his work ethic, just watch him.
There's no doubt the Browns got a very special player in Nick Chubb a couple of years ago in the draft, the early second-round pick, and now Baker Mayfield back to work under center. This time he's got Kareem Hunt in the backfield with him. As you see that view, Andy Janovich, the fullback, motions in. Little offset eye and a little delayed handoff up the middle to Hunt, who makes a nice cut. And again, that duo, I still think early in the season, you're going to be able to run it a lot, and defenses are going to get worn down. We heard John Greco talking about you start to wear down the defenses. The Browns, with Chubb and Hunt, are going to have a running back who is elite and fresh all throughout the game, and I think that's going to be difficult for defenses to deal with, and it's going to create some of those play action situations we see where guys are running wide open, and Baker and those receivers, as long as they connect, you're going to see some big plays.
You said it right there. You hit it right on the head. If these guys are eating and they're having success, you best believe Odell and company are going to reap the benefits.
Mayfield in the shotgun, slides it out to Jamarcus Bradley for a nice gain. Good job by Kareem Hunt on the blitz pickup, as we saw Carl Joseph, the strong safety, coming on a delayed blitz there off the right side, and Hunt came across the formation. And that's another part of having these backs. Not only are they two of the best runners in the NFL, both of them very proficient in pass protection, and that's critically important. You need your backs are often the guys that have to pick up that final blitzer, that free rusher, and we saw Hunt do a good job there on Joseph, which freed Baker Mayfield up to make the completion.
That may be what the coach is looking for when you look at the second, third, not second and third because you got Kareem and Chubb, but the third and fourth running back, it may come down to blocking.
Yep.
Who can block better? Who can we put out there and know that the protection won't break down?
Case Keenum now with the second team. A little quick pass, and Robert McCray, the defensive end, was right in his face. Taywan Taylor gotten behind the defense, but that's one that we can enjoy for the offense and the execution of it, but at the same time know that play would likely not have happened in a game, as McCray was right in there on Case Keenum, and that looked a little bit like some type of a blown assignment on the offensive line.
And you see, if you look at that play, think of a 7-on-7 period. They don't have an offensive line, so that's how it's kind of, skewed towards the offensive side where you don't have a rush. Quarterback can sit down there unhindered and deliver the football, which is more mental for him than physical.
Keenum this time hands it off to the right side. Dontrell Hilliard threw a big hole on the right side, and that would definitely have been a positive running play for the Browns. Hilliard in that competition, as we've talked about many times, with D'Ernest Johnson, who you see making his way into the huddle there to be that team's third running back this season behind the top two. And it's a role that isn't going to see a lot of carries or touches, I would imagine, barring injury, but one that you have to be ready, but also you have to be proficient on special teams.
Yes, and we know at the second, third tier level, guys have to be, they just have to be able to provide something to your team on special teams to make it, as a backup receiver, as a backup cornerback, a linebacker. Special teams is vital, and we can't say that enough.
No, we can't see Case Keenum in the shotgun here. Chris Hubbard getting some work there at left tackle. Keenum with a little floater, and there's Dearness Johnson showing what he can do, and that's a big play down the right sideline. Keenum to Johnson,
Man,
another chunk play. That's right, Dearness Johnson.
Dearness, and you got Dontrell Hilliard. They're going tit for tat. One guy running real hard down the hole in Dontrell, and then you got Dearness right there. So, again, the competition is brewing. They're making it hard, a tough decision for any coach to decide who will be this team's third-string running back.
We just saw Dearness Johnson over our shoulders. Make the big catch. We just saw Donovan Peoples-Jones over our shoulder walk into the field house with the training staff. Peoples-Jones had left to practice last week early due to heat. You wonder if it could be another fluid issue for him. He walked under his own power. It looked fine walking. Wasn't walking with any noticeable limp or anything like that. So hopefully it's just maybe get in there, get him hydrated, and get ready, because while we're in the shade and it is windy, it's a very hot, very humid day here in Berea.
Yes, and these guys are in full gear, so understand that injuries happen. They're more susceptible when they have that gear on and the heat is added to it.
And I noticed Peoples-Jones looked very winded. He had the long touchdown, and then when they were in that 7-on-7, he ran about 3 consecutive plays, and he caught that ball over the middle. And he did look a little bit winded after that one. As you see in the team red zone goal line period, Baker Mayfield to Higgins again for the touchdown. And we're starting to see this offense, I think, have a little bit of a better day. Kind of what we were looking for here in this kind of a red zone goal line period as we take another look at it. Mayfield under center. Drops back, and again, we talked about this rhythm. Look, top of the drop, ball out, and that is perfectly placed. That's on a line, perfect spiral, tight spiral, right where it can either be caught by Hollywood Higgins or it will be incomplete. Great ball from Baker Mayfield there. And this offense starting to have a nice little feel here on this day in Berea.
I'm excited about that ball from to Higgins. I thought he was going to do the Hollywood Walk of Hall of Fame right there. I was excited to see that from Higgins, man.
Nick Chubb, when you see him run, just the speed and the power, the vision, the balance, all the things that make him an exceptional running back. And, we haven't gotten to see anybody try to tackle him. The first time I think that we'll actually see a real live tackle attempt on Nick Chubb, could come in one of these next 4 training camp practices, but there's a good chance it might be against the Baltimore Ravens, where we're talking without pads, talking in a running play, and I think he's going to be a handful for people who he's hard enough to tackle when people are very proficient at it and have been practicing a lot. Mayfield over the middle, ripping it for Austin Hooper. Good coverage there. Jacob Phillips, B.J. Goodson, Sendejo, that trio there. Harrison Bryant got him last time. It looks like they went back to something similar, and they said, no, not this time. We're going to make sure we're not letting that happen.
Those are veterans, and that's one reason you have those guys on the field. They're in the red zone, tight red zone. They're not going to just let anything happen.
No, they are not, as Nick Chubb runs it up the middle into the end zone. So a good period, I would say, for the offense here, and something that you'd wanted to see. Hollywood Higgins really coming on strong in this, the last 2 days. I think Higgins has really started to stand out and be, that reliable guy. You have to put him probably in the lead for that third receiver spot at this point. Kadarrell Hodge missing his 5th straight practice now for personal reasons. Again, we hope everything is okay with Kadarrell and his family. And we needed to, we wanted to see Hollywood step up. We certainly have done that.
Yes.
Time now for our photo of the day, presented by Medical Mutual. And there he is, taken by our own Matt Starkey. We talked about him. All business. Look at this guy. This is our guy, Nick Chubb. Old school, power, strong, determined, won't be denied, and I think in line for a monster 2020 season. We'll be back with more Browns Live Training Camp presented by Snapple right after this.
Snapple apple tastes like apple.
And we dance the same too. And 1, and 2, shake now, stomp. Put it in the basket.
Now let's cobbler.
And cobbler. And cobbler.
Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple. Tastes like a perfect peach. It keeps on peaching. Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple.
Antonio's Pizza delivers doubles. Order 2 medium one-topping pizzas for just $9.99 each, or make it a large for just $12.99. Download our new Antonio's Pizza app and order 2 of your favorite one-topping pizzas at a special low price. Choose our no-contact delivery and let one of our in-house team members deliver the deliciousness right to your front door. 2 handmade one-topping pizzas fresh out of our 470-degree oven for a low price of $9.99 each for 2 mediums, or get 2 large for just $12.99 each.
If you're watching this right now, chances are you need an immunization. Whether you're a new parent or grandparent, spend time with your own grandparents, have a child with a compromised immune system, have diabetes or shingles, the list goes on. Stop by your local Discount Drug Mart and see us for an immunization review today. Protecting your loved ones is our top priority. A Discount Drug Mart immunization review is quick and free. It's the insurance your family needs to stay healthy. Discount Drug Mart, your immunization destination.
New this year, Browns fans all across Ohio will have a special opportunity to purchase 50-50 raffle tickets during the 2020 Cleveland Browns training camp. Each ticket will provide a chance to win half of the raffle's net proceeds, the other half benefiting the Stay in the Game Network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. For more information and to purchase a raffle ticket, visit Browns5050.com. That's Browns5050.com or the Browns mobile app.
Attendance is our key initiative in the East Cleveland City School District. We are in the 4th poorest community in the United States of America. And we have young people now that are in our communities and in our cities that need education in order to help them prepare for the future. The work of the school can't be done without families and the community at large. The Browns Foundation is helping us to increase our communication effort. Parents are affiliating East Cleveland City Schools with the Browns, and there's a partnership there. There are 2 entities that care about our children and making sure they come to school.
Welcome back to Browns Live, brought to you by Snapple. Time now for the Browns Live play of the day, presented by University Hospitals, and it's a bomb. Case Keenum, little play action, good job picking up the blitz, it looked like by Pharaoh Brown, and he airs it out for Donovan Peoples-Jones, 5 yards clear of the defense, and that was about an 80-yard touchdown there. Again, let's take a look at it. Coming across formation, yeah, that was Pharaoh Brown. Great job, takes out 2 blitzers, and Keenum finds Peoples-Jones down the field for the big touchdown. That is our University Hospitals play of the day. We're hearing the whistles out there on the field. Josh, looks like maybe a little bit of a fracas, as it were. A little fracas, getting a little testy out here in Berea.
Boys will be boys on the football field. And there's a little tussling going on, a little heated there, and that's what happens in the NFL when you got guys in training camp. It's day 10, 12, 11, whatever the day is of training camp, because the days run together. But you see those guys, attitudes get a little heated, and that's normal in training camp. It's almost like you can set your watch when the ruckus happens in training camp. Like, man, this training camp isn't good. There's not enough arguments or tussling with the guys. And yet we saw another one there. So you'll see that back to practice. You see it right here.
Yeah, got a little chippy. The offense having some success today down there in the red zone and goal line periods. The defense obviously didn't like it. As we get you back to live action, you see Baker Mayfield there, sending a man in motion. Drop it back, looking, pumping, firing. Hollywood Higgins again with the touchdown right along the back line of the defense. Mayfield going through his progressions and throwing a dart. And I'll tell you, this is as good, I think, as we've seen Baker Mayfield look here in Berea, looking very good. Great job. How about Jedrick Wills getting Myles Garrett past? Well, though Myles is going to say, I probably got there. Hollywood Higgins beating Robert Jackson in the coverage for the touchdown. But that was a good one. Myles Garrett on replay of that, Josh. I'm not so sure we would have gotten to ring that one up there for the Browns. As you see Steve Carlson go in motion, Mayfield under center in this goal line drill here. Quick handoff, Dearness Johnson up the middle, fighting his way in where he was met by Carl Joseph right at the line of scrimmage. And Dearness says, "Yep, that was a touchdown. I liked what I did there. Let's keep it rolling."
I love the contact. I love the contact when you see these guys hit like that, but they're keeping each other safe. A nice thud, what you say. You answer these questions over and over that we've been getting from fans. Will the team be ready for the Ravens game 1? You know what? When you see this contact, when you see guys like Baker connect to Hollywood Higgins, when you see Keenum connect to DPJ, and the defense is playing lights out like that, yes, I think they'll be ready for game 1.
Certainly looks that way. Keenum under center now with the second team out there. Starts off little play fake keeper, booting to the right, looking, quick little throw. Johnny Stanton, the fullback, underneath, and finishes the play out there as he just got tapped up by the Browns defense. And I'd say this is probably the best day that we've seen from the offense, at least in a while. And Baker in particular has looked very sharp. The ball placement, and that's something that we've talked a lot about, I think has really been on point, and it's very encouraging.
And not just that. When you have an offense that's playing well, you tend to say, if you have a good practice, the offense has to do well. Nope. You see what's going on with the defense. They're playing lights out. I'm going to say that word over and over again when it relates to the defense. Lights out football. They're playing good as well as the offense. So you're seeing a good, healthy balance. That's what we've been wanting to see from this team. You see plays being made on both sides of the ball. Hollywood Higgins is finally emerging, getting into the mix. He's starting to find his rhythm with Baker. Things are starting to, to connect on all sides of the ball, and that's what you want to see from your team. Balance.
It remains one of the strangest things that happened in the 2019 season. Hollywood Higgins, nearly 600 yards the year before. He was a guy that really had been an absolute security blanket for Baker Mayfield, and then he wasn't a part of it. You see Kevin Stefanski talk to Pharaoh Brown there. Pharaoh Brown was the one involved in that little fracas we mentioned. It was Pharaoh Brown and B.J. Goodson. Larry Ogunjobi went in there and broke it up, but you saw Kevin Stefanski talk to him as the Browns set up now for a field goal, or perhaps it's even extra points. Austin Seibert out there on a very windy day in Berea. But you see Coach Stefanski, he's constantly out there letting them know, look, this is what needs to be done as the kick is up and the kick is good. And one of our favorite parts of the program, seeing Brown strength coach Larry Jackson and equipment manager Brad Melland in sync right there, stepping up. The kick is up. And the kick is good. So you'd like to see that.
Yeah, we had a good chance, and you remember our conversation with Seibert, and we had an opportunity to ask him, hey, it's a mental game, isn't it? It's a mental battle because he can kick. He has the leg strength, and he said, you know what, as long as my mental right, I'll knock it through the hoop every practice, no matter what. We know this is Cleveland. They're working. They're extra prepared for the Cleveland weather. That's something that Old Faithful – I ain't gonna say the real number 4, but when it comes to that number he's wearing, Phil Dawson made it live here in Cleveland. Other kickers, they struggle when it comes to this Cleveland weather, this environment, and that's something that Seibert is taking to heart.
He is, and a good job so far. And he's got his holder, Jamie Gillen, back, the Scottish Hammer, and he puts that another one. That's 3 for 3 right down the pipe. And that one they're backing it up a little bit each time. That last one, they were about 38 yards, it looked like to our eyes. We try to make the best of the information we can see on our screen here. But another, probably, it looks like 5 yards back again for Seibert, who should be right around, it's about around a 43-yarder. And he's kicking. Don't forget that those goalposts are actually for the end zone on the other side, so it could even add some more yards to it from Seibert, who's got plenty of leg. Doesn't matter where he's on the field. That one looked wide right, and that one was no good.
I'm going to mess with him. It was the mullet. I think it was the hair on that one because it was distracting me as they were looking at him, as the camera angle showed Seibert. I'm like, man, that blonde hair is distracting me, and I think it's distracting him. That's his excuse.
That's his excuse, the mullet. Okay. They go right back to it, and this is when you want to see him bounce back through here. As this is a much longer field goal. We're back in the 50-yard range easily there for Seibert. And that one was up, and that was good from a long way away. Good bounce back there. Seibert 4 for 5 in the field goals that we just showed you right there. And it's good to see him back, have that battery with the Scottish Hammer, Jamie Gillen. And those two, Austin Seibert, 5th-round draft pick. Not often do you see a kicker drafted. He was, and he's been off to a very good start to his career. You want to see everybody else in the NFL, the 2021 draft class, start their career? Well, guess what? It is coming to Cleveland. That's right, the city of rock. The Cleveland is holding it. For more information, visit rocktheclockcl.com. That's rocktheclockcle.com. That draft in downtown Cleveland, April 29th to May the 1st, 2021. As you see Seibert knock another bomb there here. And again, rocktheclockcle.com is where you are. So they're backed up. Again, that goalpost is behind the end zone as well. And Seibert getting ready to hit one bomb. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and hit to the break real quickly here. The snap is back. The ball is down. The kick is up. And the kick is good.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you like to go. You like to go out on a positive note. We'll be back with more Browns Live Training Camp presented by Snapple right after this.
Just got my new jersey from the Browns.
And it looks like we're going a little bit more traditional this year. Small work. Heck yeah.
Well, I like the white one. Back to the good old days.
I can catch that. Pass you. You see my highlight tape yet?
Today's Cleveland Browns high school team of the day, Avon Lake High School, paired with Elyria High School to accept the Build the Bridge Challenge. The Shoremen are coached by Matt Kostelnik and finished the 2019 campaign 11-2. To learn more about the Build the Bridge Challenge and how you can be the solution, visit clevelandbrowns.com/youthfootball today.
Welcome back to Browns Live Training Camp presented by Snapple. Nathan Zagura alongside Browns legend Josh Cribbs. And Josh, it's one of the oldest sayings, you got to end on a make, and it appears the Browns have decided to end today's practice on that long-made field goal by Austin Seibert. We knew it was going to be a shorter practice. You see a lot of unity from this Browns team here today as they now will transition from good, important work on the field to good, important work off the field and how they can make meaningful change and be a part of the solution in the social justice arena. They ended up going a little bit longer maybe than we thought they might today, just about an hour and 10 minutes here in Berea, and a good day, one of the better days we've seen from this offense. And I would say for quarterback Baker Mayfield, the ball placement was there, the timing was there, it looked good. He was ripping it, and he was accurate, and as a result, the offense was scoring the football.
Definitely, from touchdown passes to DPJ, Hollywood, Higgins, of course, with 2, Harrison, Carlson, Bryant. Those guys were playing great football. Keenum, I was excited to see him run the offense like a number 1. That's what I want to see from the number 2, because you don't know what happens in the NFL. Anything can happen. Injuries happen in the NFL, so I was excited to see Baker pick it up, make this offense seem with some consistency, and you got Keenum right there behind him, but then the defense still is playing good. Taki with the pick. You had the defensive line answering the call on an offensive touchdown. So you see this good play from both sides of the ball. This is the practice you want to see from your Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, it was a good practice. As you mentioned, the defense had plenty of big plays. I thought there was a speed, a physicality, a focus to this practice, and you didn't know what it was going to be. In light of everything that went on before practice, the team meetings, the Social Justice Leadership Council, those guys convening and deciding, telling Kevin Stefanski, Coach, we want to practice today, but we also want to take time to figure out how we can make an impact and impact change in our communities. You see Baker Mayfield, the Browns quarterback, headed on over our way as he's going to join us here live on Browns Live today. And you know, this was, again, we talked about such an important day really in our country. I think it began, obviously, you know, it's been going on for a long time, but this movement last night, the NBA obviously brought it to the forefront. We saw many teams around the NFL today decide not to practice. The Browns opted to do some practice work and, again, focus on what they can control on the field, and now are going to try to figure out and get together off the field to figure out how they can make that change in this community and our country at large. And I think that is certainly to be commended, and it's one of those things, again, if you want to join the Browns' efforts on this front, remember when Andrew Berry talked about being the solution, you can go to clevelandbrowns.com/be-the-solution to join us in this fight to bring, I think, everybody to a better field, everybody to a level playing field, and really to create that equality and sense of community that is truly fundamentally what America is all about.
Yes, and you said it right there. These guys have been playing. They practice really good today, but they're men. They're men on the field is the way they play and represent this great city, but they have to be men in the community as well to be heroes to not just their families, but to the families all out there. They're the fans of the Browns, the fans of this city. They represent us as a whole, and Nathan, you said it best. They do work for all of us, not just a few.
That's right. You see Baker Mayfield joining us in the tent here on Browns Live, and obviously we're excited to talk with our quarterback as he gets everything going there momentarily. Baker, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's going to be hard for me not to look over at you guys right over here.
It is odd. We do it a lot as well, but thanks for joining us here on Browns Live, presented by Snapple. Let's just start with obviously the big issues of the day, and that was you guys getting together prior to this practice, deciding, yes, we want to practice, but we're going to shorten it. We're going to abbreviate it so that we can focus on making impact and meaningful change in the social justice space. I know you're a part of the team's leadership council. Just kind of take us in as much as you feel comfortable with those decisions and what you guys are really hoping to accomplish off of the field.
Yeah, no, I think first and foremost it starts with what was announced today between the three Cleveland area professional teams of coming together and try and raise awareness about voting. I think it starts there with, everybody's opinions, and we've had many discussions in the locker room about, I don't think my vote really is going to do anything in moving forward. But the more, you look into it, the more you research and do your due diligence, you realize that you're truly voting on the people that make decisions around your community, in the local areas, things that you can really affect and make change. And so we've talked about that cultural change that we can chip away at, and we can set a standard for our communities. And it's pretty special that we have three professional teams going in on that together. To where we can, other people can look at that and see what we're doing, and if, things pan out the way we want them to, it's going to be true progress and something that needs to happen.
Baker, man, Cribs here. What's going on with
you, baby?
What's
going on, Josh? Good to see you.
Oh, yeah. So, listen, my question for you, man, I love how you're a diehard for this city, but even more, sometimes to your detriment for the players in the locker room. How sometimes you catch heat for going to bat for, hey, man, I'm worried about the players in this locker room for this team. Talk about the camaraderie and what it means for you to stand up for everyone inside that locker room.
Yeah, you know what? I've always been one to, catch a lot of heat. Just always worn my heart on my sleeves. Believed in what I believe in. And like I've said, there's right and there's wrong. And so these guys need to know that I'm 100% transparent when it comes to social injustice issues and things that we've discussed. But I'll take the heat for anything like that of what I believe in, what I stand up for, because my legacy, I want it to be far beyond what the outside opinion is. The people that I can truly affect and inspire within this locker room that I'm around, that's what truly matters to me and my family and my brothers and teammates in this locker room know that.
Very powerful stuff, Baker. And as we transition to your work on the field today, it looks very crisp, and the ball placement, the rhythm. You guys had a lot of success throwing the football today. Coming off of that day off with everything going on, how important was it to you to get into that rhythm, and how comfortable are you starting to feel in this offense?
Starting to, feel way more comfortable. I had some new, red zone goal line stuff in today, so some first looks at some of that. But, it's been great to, go through the installs a few times and kind of put everything under our belt for the first time. So truly starting to make progress, which needs to happen, only 2 weeks from today from the first NFL game. So we know the sense of urgency is at an all-time high.
Baker, man, a lot of times in practice, we're rating how well you guys do as a team by how well the offense does. And I know that, you see these DBs, they're going off the same routes. They see the same thing happen every practice. Yeah. They're watching the routes that OBJ and Jarvis runs. Tell me how difficult it is to practice against the same guys over and over, but how it also sharpens the team, the offense.
Extremely difficult when you go out and do a walkthrough against the defense and you're running the same concepts, then they're prepared for them in the afternoon. So it's all about the details when it comes down to actually getting out there and running at full speed, being on time, being precise with the reads, knowing exactly where the ball's going to go, and those guys hitting the right depths, hitting the right angles coming back, and attacking the ball. It's about finishing when we get back out there. We've done a lot of teaching, so now it's time to go out there and show them what we've learned and execute.
One of the things we know you love to do is when you get out of the pocket in this offense, so much on that wide zone and then that keeper game off of it. And we see that success that you have moving. How much fun are you having knowing that this is an offense that really suits a lot of the things you do well? Play action, you're one of the best in the NFL, getting outside of the pocket, and those are kind of staples of what you're asked to do here.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about it. As the more plays we run in this camp to kind of nail down what our identity is, we're starting to see what's working for us. So I'm very happy with where we're at right now, but we're not, satisfied just yet. So we got to see what happens game plan by game plan of what we're going to do, marrying up the pass and the run. But no, I'm very happy with where we're at right now.
Baker, talk about I'm very excited about the talent that's on this team right now. Talk about it's only one football.
Yeah.
You stack that wide receiver. You have the best in the league. The tight ends out of nowhere. I mean, you have a great group. Talk about how excited you are with all the weapons and how you plan to utilize them all.
You know what? I got to go through my reads, do my stuff, because that's the coach's job to call the plays and get the balls in those playmakers' hands. I got to go through and do my job. I got to be a playmaker as well, and be a ball distributor. But we have guys everywhere that can make plays, so it's going to be nice to look out there with one-on-ones kind of all over the field. And if they do want to double team guys, then everybody else needs to be licking their chops. So we're getting better up front, added some depth, as everybody knows, and Coach Callahan's doing a great job up front. So we're excited to get to play somebody else.
We know you love utilizing the tight end. You go back to Oklahoma, Mark Andrews, you love to get the ball to your tight ends, and it's clear from the time spent in Austin with Austin till out here that you and Austin Hooper are on the same page. Harrison Bryant, that nice catch today in the 7-on-7s down there near the goal line. But that's a position that's going to be featured in this offense, and that chemistry with Austin looks like you've been playing together for years.
Yeah, no, it all comes back to communication, being on the same page, because you can look at a route, look at an install sheet, and say here's the details of it, but there's such a feel that needs to happen for tight ends to make that next step, and we got guys that have that instinct, that feel, so we're on the same page because we talk through a lot, but they understand the football game offensively, what we're trying to do, and Harrison as a young player is extremely sharp and could be very special.
Baker, man, this Cleveland, everybody loves their quarterback. They love some Baker Mayfield. Tell us some of the goals and some of the things that you've been working on to be most successful this season.
Just getting better individually, working on, obviously learning the new offense first and foremost so I can get the ball out on time, get the ball to our playmakers like we talked about. But just winning games, trying to get to know the teammates even more, get the best out of them because I feel like that's what I did at Oklahoma. The most important thing as a quarterback is elevating the guys around you to play at a higher level. So that's what I'm working on right now, trying to get the most out of our guys. And because the talent's there. Now it's just about the production and going out and doing our job.
Baker, to end on a little bit of a silly note, you've talked about the elegance of certain facial hairstyles in the past. You have an elegantly well-groomed beard. Your left guard, Joel Bitonio, I don't know. We don't know what's going on there.
He looks like
it's
Jekyll
out of control.
And Hyde. I don't know which one's which in that Sean Connery movie, but when he puts the face mask on, it all just kind of pops out. I know Courtney's not very happy with him, but he's probably got some stuff living in there.
It certainly looks that way. Baker, thank you so much for the time. I know you guys have very important work to get to after practice here today. We really appreciate you stopping by and looking forward. Can't believe 17 days away from that season opener in Baltimore.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
All right, Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield joining us here to wrap up Browns Live. Again, a very important day here in Berea for a variety of reasons. On the field, a very crisp practice. I think a very good showing from our offense and especially from our guest Baker Mayfield, and now off of the field, the Social Justice Committee and the team at large to get together to figure out how they can make an impact and really inspire and affect change. Not just talk about it, but impact and affect change, be the solution in our communities.
Yes, and you said it, affect change and talk about action. A lot of times you rah-rah and you get together and there's no action put behind it. But this time the players all around Cleveland, all sports teams around Cleveland are making their mark in history for their community. It's time for them to stand up more so by action in the community, and they're doing just that. And our team is led by that guy you just saw and a host of others on this team, Browns players, Myles Garrett, to name a few. Again, your quarterback right there, a heck of a day in practice as well. I have to say that, if you look at the defense as a whole, lights out, offense has picked it up. I'm seeing what we need to see from this team, not just on the field, but again, we talked about social issues. They're hitting their stride all across the board. I'm excited. I'm happy of what this Cleveland Browns team has to offer, led by D and Jimmy Haslam on down the line to Coach Stefanski.
Absolutely. And again, if you want to be involved, go to clevelandbrowns.com, be the solution, and check out how you can get involved and be a part of this very important change in our country. Good day. The Browns ramping it up, I think, and taking those steps forward. You saw a little bit of that sense of urgency as we are just 17 days away from the season opener in Baltimore, and that is the message. Team, that's what it's all about here in Berea. For Josh Cribbs, I'm Nathan Zaguris, and we'll be back tomorrow for another edition of Browns Live presented by Snapple.